Hello and welcome to a new video. So last week, if you remember, I presented the story of Tansoft on the software, and I shown the Tangerine Microtan 65, which is the first member of the Oric family. So here we can see in 1979 the Tangerine Microtan 65, which was made in England. Then in 1983 the Oric 1, in 1984 the Oric Atmos, and some derivative like slightly around this period the Oric Nova 64, which was made on contract in Yugoslavia. The non-official clone made in Bulgaria in 1985, the Pravetz 8D, and the last model of the Oric family in 1986, the Oric Telestrat, also called Stratos, that was a project code name, and IQ164, which is what's written there, which was actually built in France, even if the original design was made in UK. On the side, the Oric Phoenix, which was never released, and the traces were found a few years ago when Jonathan Bristow found 5 motherboards, copyright Tangerine, of a CPM Z80 based machine. But technically it's not an Oric. Back of the days there were discussions about CPM extension for the Oric computers, which will have allowed compatibility with CPM software, like things that you could run on the Amstrad CPC with a floppy drive. But this never happened, and this thing was not actually working, but Fabrice Frances, the author of Euphoric, the first usable Oric emulator, actually managed to complete the project, so that could be a video by itself. But what I'm going to show you is various machines and what they mean and what are the actual differences, because a lot of people are confused, like is the Oric 1 very different from the Atmos, what about the 16K versus 48K, is the Nova different from the Atmos or from the Pravetz, etc. etc. But first I'm going to talk about the Microtan. So you can see the Tansoft Gazette, which became Oric owner. And on the first issue, January-February, of the Oric owner, you can find this, the news brief. News brief, Salamander software, Oric is indeed international, Oric software, etc. But on page 7 you can see Microtan sale. Negotiations are almost complete for the sale of Tangerine's Microtan range to Microtanic hardware in Dulwich. This will allow Tangerine to concentrate on the Oric computer while allowing the Microtan range to continue to be supported. All requests for technical information, orders or repairs should be directly to Microtanic hardware on 01693 1137. So that's the official end of the Microtan as a part of the Oric world. So now it's all Oric 1 Atmos something. So when you would have decided to buy an Oric 1 back in 1983, that would have been one of these two models. I'm not quite sure which one was first, but you can see that one has a grey logo, one has a colored logo. But for what you can see, that's pretty much the same thing with same connectors, things like that. Except there's one major difference. $16K, $48K. And with that, you will have had the user manual. So that one is a French version, that one is a British version, but yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. What's interesting to us is the annex. Appendix A, memory map, page 145. Oric 1 memory map. IRS mode, text mode, this area not available for user program unless grab command is issued, or release command allow IRS module to And B, for 16K system, all addresses except ROM, which is part here, are minus 8000 hexadecimal. Which basically means that all the screens, all these addresses are different. I've not actually programmed anything on the 16K. I believe you can still address the addresses there on modulo 8000, it should work. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. But basically what it means, if it works, is that modulo 8000 hexa, you're going to overwrite the same amount, the same location in memory, which is not very good. So why having a 16K version? Well, to be perfectly honest, this machine, there's almost nothing that runs on that. Most software is 48K only. The only interesting thing about the 16K is purely collector market. A lot of people have not seen what the difference between the 16K and 14K model is, so I can show you. So, warranty is void. Oh my god. Actually, what I can do first is show that they run. Yeah, so Oric Extended Basic version 1.0, copyright 1983 Tangerine, 15,102 by 3 ready. So I'm not sure it's very visible on the video, but yeah. Oops. So yeah, basically feature-wise, everything's supported. It has the same audio command, it has the same high-resolution graphic mode, so the only difference is you have not as much memory. Because I switched to iRes, it means that out of the 16K of RAM, I lost 8 kilobytes, 8000 bytes technically. So I'm already gone to 8 kilobytes of usable memory, which is not much. And in comparison, that one, is difficult to find. And that one has Oric Extended Basic version 1.0, copyright 1983 Tangerine, 47,870 by 3. So yeah, a lot more memory. So these machines are very easy to open. Basically, you have this thing which is protecting one of the screws, but everything else is directly accessible. Maybe the last one is here. So that's your 48K Oric. So here we have the sound chip, the AY38912. We have the CPU, the 6502. Here we have the VIA, SY6522A. Here the graphic processor, the HES ULR, undedicated logic array. And here we have Oric Basic version 1.0. and here we have the 64K of RAM. And despite the Oric saying that it has 48K, it does have 64K of RAM. The reason they are sold as 48K is that because these two chips are overlaid by the ROM, which is 16 kilobytes. So while the ROM is active, you can't access these two chips, but if you have a floppy drive, the DOS itself installs there, and there is additional hardware in the floppy drive unit to allow disabling the ROM chip. So that's 48K. Let's see what we have in the 16K. And yes, don't be offended, this machine had already been opened before I ever got them. So it's very rare to find an Oric which was never opened. If only because they were very often damaged by... So there we can see the difference between the two computers. So it also has a 1.0, let's see, like that. So it still has the 1.0 basic ROM. The sound chip are the same place, but here Oric 16K, there is only two chips instead of all these there. But for the rest, it looks very similar. So not much to say about. So now you can say that you know what was inside the 16K Oric, and you can see there is also a different keyboard plate. You can see it's slightly different. Here you have the. But yeah, it's basically the same thing. That one I had to clean up. I don't know what the previous owner did. It was full of sawdust. So maybe it was used, I don't know, by some carpenter using the Oric to do some technical drawings. No idea. But yeah, it would been working nicely. Well, at least half of the keys were stuck until I cleaned them under. So that's it for the Oric 1. And the next one in the family is the Oric Atmos. It should also come with the manuals. That one is the British user manual, which is very good, very usable, very explanation of the language. I think it's one of the best book I had for learning programming. Goes to assembly language, memory map, things like that. And this is the French version, which is basically the same one with just some additional drawing, which I would not call awesome. Brunsley, the Swiss scene event. Interesting. Funny what you can find in old books. But yeah, so exactly the same thing. There are some how to use the printer, and I believe there are also some simplified layout of the board, etc. So there it is, the Oric 1 and the Oric Atmos. So a lot of people are being confused about what's the difference between the Oric 1 and the Atmos 48K. And the answer is not much. And it was actually possible to upgrade this machine, the Oric one, to make them like Atmos. So in latest issues of Oric Honor, you could find that. Atmos upgrade announced. After months of speculation, Oric Products International Ltd has unveiled plans for upgrading of existing 48K Oric One computers. The upgrade is to cost £60. 16K Oric One owners will also be able to upgrade to a 16K Atmos for the same amount, but not 48K Atmos specification. Knowing that there's never been, prove me wrong if you have an example, I've never seen an official 16K Atmos. By the time the Atmos was released, there were no logical budget incentive for a 16K model. It will not have sold. For that price, the upgrade is comprehensive. The old Oric One machine will have the new ROM installed, the new typewriter style keyboard, the black and red casing of the Atmos, and comes with both an Atmos manual and a full 12-month guarantee. It will, to all intent and purpose, be an Atmos computer. To get your upgrade, send your Oric One with no code or power supplies, but securely packed to Oric manufacturing unit, blah 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 blah. The turnaround time is expected to be 28 days, for the depend of the service. Blah 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 blah. Nothing incredible there. And some of the magazine, actually it was in the same magazine, even had some competition to win a free upgrade. The questions are designed to test your knowledge of the Oric One. You will find some of the answers in this issue of Oric Honor, other by trying them out on your computer, and other by web. That will be today. As a tiebreaker, we are also asking you to come up with a name for a new Oric. We'd add the Oric One on the Atmos. What might Oric call the third computer? Use your imagination. So the questions are, where does the name Oric come from? A. The word Oracle. B. Rearranged letters from the word micro. C. The name of the computer in Blake 7 Orac. What central processing unit does the Oric use? A. 6502A. B. Z80. C. 6809. What is the total RAM and ROM memory of the Oric One? 376031 bytes. B. 47870 bytes. C. 65538 bytes. Which is a weird question, because the total RAM on ROM, I think neither of these answers are correct, because physically the Oric One has 64K of RAM and it has 16K of ROM, so we should be in the 90,000 something bytes, so this is just weird. Which of these commands is not in the v1.0 ROM? A. Edit. B. Post 0. C. Store A : cut. How would the command plot 3,5, A for the v1 ROM need to be written to have the same result on the v11 RAM? Plot 2.5, plot 4.5, plot 3.6. I don't actually remember, but some of the commands were ignoring the fact that you had a status bar on the top, and some would ignore the 2 columns for attributes. So hard to say. And then we have the same thing in front. Oric One transform in Atmos. For all the ones which are wondering and are asking us a question concerning transformation of Oric One into Atmos, we publish this Oric France communicate regarding the thing. Oric France announced the possibility to transform an Oric One to Atmos. You have 2 possibilities. Modify the case, keyboard and ROM, 15 days, 765 francs. Including modification, user manual, and welcome tape. Or 2, you can ask for immediate swap, delay immediate. You bring your Oric One and you get an Atmos in exchange, price 1,190. These 2 operations are available until the 31st of January 1985. And then a few issues later, so that was in theory, another article. So that's the news and also what people are saying, like mail from readers. The Oric Atmos modification, 765 francs plus 40 francs of shipping, require, based on testimony of our readers, up to 5 weeks. Funny enough, you see some ads. Do you want a ROM? There you go. The 1.1 ROM, which will transform your Oric into Atmos, is available for 250 francs French, including shipping to Établissement Electronics, blah blah blah. Soumine. This is a good news. So basically, because Oric France is not able to do things fast enough, some people are probably selling bootleg reprogrammed 1.1 EPROM or EEPROM, so people can do the upgrade themselves. And in another magazine you can see this funny ad. Oric 1 plus TVS equal Atmos. Atmos plus TVS equal Oric 1. Renversant, that's a French word for things that... So to give your requirement all the possibilities of an Atmos, or opposite, it's crazy, no? You just need to branch, to connect to the back of your computer the new TVS interface, a simple switch to select which direction to do the operation, and you can juggle between Atmos and Oric 1, and the reset key makes it easier to change your software. The TVS user interface is for sale everywhere for 495. So basically what this thing does, it connects to the extension port directly on the 6502 bus, and it probably does the same thing as what the microdisc is doing, which is short-circuiting the main ROM to use whatever is there. Which brings the question, how the heck did Oric manage to spend up to 5 weeks doing the operation? While all there is to do really is to get these two parts, take your Oric 1, open the 6 screws I opened earlier, remove 3 screws here, unconnect that, take the Atmos case, connect back the pins. That's probably what takes 2 weeks. It's actually very difficult to do when there is a camera and you're not actually under the thing. There you go. Plug it in, put back in the hole, maybe do a quick check to see if the thing still boots. Yes, and you can see the cursor is there, so we are still on Oric 1. Rescrew the 3 screws. Cool thing with this type of video is that if I screw up by destroying a computer, everybody will see it. Because no matter what happens, I will post this video. So, and now and I will assume that people at Oric do have special equipment for doing that. You remove the 1.0 ROM and you make sure to put the 1.1 ROM at the right location. Oric Extended Basic version 1.1, copyright 93, Tangerine, 37 635 by 3 already. And we can see that the cursor blinking is on the second row, so it is indeed version 1.1. And then you use the original screws, because even if the case has a different color, it is still the same shape. And there you go. You got an Oric Atmos 48K. As you can see, it took about 5 weeks. So yeah, I don't know what they did. They should be ashamed. Oh, sorry. The 5 weeks were probably the time it took to put back your warranty seal. So, we've seen the Oric one, 16K, 48K, the Oric Atmos. What about the Oric Nova 64? Well, I've never actually seen one myself. Well, I've seen a couple of photos on internet. But as far as I know, there were 5,000 made of these. They are exact copies of the Atmos. All the parts are identical. It's the same ROM, there's no change at all. The only difference here is that instead of Oric Atmos 48K, it's written Oric Nova 64. If somebody has a nice high screen, high resolution photo that can take, would be nice. Could even put it on Wikipedia, I think. They would be interested. And I mean, if somebody has one they want to get rid of, I will be interested for the collection, and I will present it. The interesting one is the Pravetz 8D from Bulgaria. So that one is slightly different. Let's see. So, I don't read Cyrillic, so if I was reading that as in French, so that would be like N Pobel 8 small sword, something PB basic 37 631 CB blah blah, Rotob syntax error. Oh no, what happened to the screen? I believe it's the screen being tired. I had the same problem yesterday. old hardware is dying. Yeah, so assuming that this will have worked, as you can see, for all intent and purpose, this is an Oric Atmos. There are a few differences. The delete key has been moved to the bottom here. The funk key is now caps lock, and you can hear, while on that one is a modifier on the Atmos, while that one is a hard key. And the reason is, as you can see on the keyboard, QWERTY up, and then you have the Russian characters in blue. What they did is that the lowercase characters are Cyrillic, and the uppercase characters, which are used in the BASIC, are Latin US. So you can use that, while normally on the Oric you do Ctrl-T to switch between. Another difference is, you can see the ports are reverted. Let's see. So the aerial is gone, but you still have the RGB, tape, printer and expansion bus, which for some reason they call modem. And that one has a built-in on-off switch. Inside, I will not open that one, but I've had some picture on my website already. Inside it's very much a recreation of the Atmos. It has the same ULA inside. As far as I know, 100% of the Atmos software runs on the Pravetz. All my demos run fine on the Pravetz, our games run fine on the Pravetz. And the keyboard is actually quite good. It's a very comfortable machine to type on. I really like the Atmos keyboard, but they have gotten a bit hard over time, while the Pravetz is still comfortable. And finally, we have the Telestrat. Which is a very complicated machine in many regards. For many computers. So yeah, so that's the frame I had yesterday. So, Telestrat, copyright 1986, Oric International, 64 kilobyte RAM, 32 kilobyte ROM, actually KO kilooctet. Telemon version 2.2, copyright 1986, Hyper Basic version 2.0, 44 kilooctet libre, kilobyte free. And that's the Hyper Basic, and that's the telematic. So this machine, as you can see, it's an Atmos keyboard inside a small frame. more or less the same logo sticker, except that one is called IQ164 and that one Oric Atmos 48K. This is supposed to be the speaker. Here you have cartridges, which are 16 kilobytes each. These things tend to die very often. You can see that one has been open because they had EPROMs and they got deleted. So some people are reprogramming them. The main difference between the Atmos and the Telestrat, it has additional ports. So let's unplug that. So first it has this telematic connection, which was used to connect on the French phone sockets, because you could use that to detect a phone call, which will be used then to connect a Minitel. So your Telestrat could use a Minitel as a modem and serve a video text page on the internet of the time. Then you have the micro disk, because that one has a controller inside. Many micro disks on Telestrat has been killed because of this and that. These connectors are very similar to these ones, and the Oric Atmos come with two types of micro disk, the slave and master. The master unit has a controller, like what is inside the Telestrat, while the slave are just dumb drive that you can just plug. So on the Telestrat you should only use slave drives. If you put a master drive which has the same connector, you're going to burn one of the controller board, or some RAM chip, or bad things going to happen. Also, in their smartness, the connector here is the same on the micro disk, but the pinout is different, which is why you can see the only difference is that one is slightly going out, and that one has a T painted in white. Alim Telestrat, so power supply, Telestrat for mic, recut cable T to connect on the Telestrat, uncut cable to connect on micro disk. And the reason is that the 12.5 on ground are not the same. It's only for that one. That one has a different pinout. And for some reason electronics does not like when you play around with voltage on negative on ground. So yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. It's like it's similar to the decision of putting the power input close by the expansion bus. If you unplug, plug, and do it just 1 centimeter on the side, you're going to burn the Oric. Because you connected the +9 volt on the +5 volt pin of the bus. So yes, that is not super smart, and that's one of the many things I don't like in this machine. It has a reset button, that's one good mark. It has 2 joystick ports, which unfortunately are not following any of the existing joystick standard of the Atmos. It's not compatible with PAS, with Opelco, with any of the... It's another one because Telestrat has a second VIA. Here it's written MIDI expansion. Well, no, it's not MIDI, it's just another serial. It is not usable to do MIDI because it's missing some of the thing, like it does not have any buffer or anything like that. So basically that's a machine which has a lot of promises. It was announced like it will have a 80 column mode. But what you get when you get an Oric is basically a machine which by default, if you don't have the ROM Oric 1 or ROM Atmos, can't run any of the Oric software. Because it does not. The Hyper Basic is very good, but it's not compatible in any way with the normal basic. The micro disk built-in is super awesome, but it's buggy. None of our demos or game run without being specially modified to work on the Telestrat. There is a stupid alignment bus problem on the commands, some obscure thing. So, and I think it's just not cool looking. It looked awesome on the design, but I think it's just kind of bulky and it gets scratchy. And I just think it's simply not as elegant as the Atmos. So yeah, I think that's about it all. If you have any question, topic you'd like me to talk about, just ask. If I can, I will try. Yeah, I think that's all for today. Bye bye.